Welcome to the Toke and Trans. What do I say? Welcome to the Toke and Trans podcast, where we talk life, love, and getting high. Grab a J and join us. We do not condone the consumption of illicit activities with anyone under the age of 21.
What's going on, everybody? It's your two favorite freaking people, Aaron and Bo. At least we are our favorite people, each other. So we are here to talk with you about respecting boundaries. We're going to talk about what not to say to trans people. I think there needs to be a little discussion on how we use the language we use when we use it. And a lot of things like that, Bo. I think people need to have some education about this.
Yeah, I agree. The people who have come into my life have been very fortunate and spoiled even that I am the kind of person that I am because
oh my gosh. Same. I feel the same way with where this is going.
Right. So as we know, I don't have a TMI filter. I'm just, oh yeah, here you go.
Information.
You have a question? Sure. Yeah. Here's the answer. Yeah. I'm not, I've never been like, I'm not ashamed or embarrassed. I'm not to say that people who don't want to talk about those things are ashamed or embarrassed. Like privacy is privacy. Like you're allowed to not feel comfortable talking about those things, but I am. So the people in my life, I make sure to preface things as like, you can ask me, but don't think you can ask this to everybody.
Yeah,
you know?
That's a perfect way to preface, because you know the question, you know that look, and then there's the followed by that question. They're like, "Can I ask you something?
Yeah,
can I ask you something personal?"
Yep.
Like when someone comes up to you and asks you, and you're like, "Okay." And there's people that are really open to it, and there are people who are really not, and then there are people in the middle. I'm one of those people in the middle. I push myself to answer them every single time, even when sometimes I probably should say no, because sometimes I don't want to. So, and I do it anyways. And so yeah, there's definitely just some ways that I think we should be able. There's some reasons we should be able to talk about this today, so that way we can feel like we should clear some of the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe this could just be a shortcut to those people. Like if somebody starts asking you a question, just link him to this video.
Yeah, like let's talk about this. Yeah, okay, exactly. We want these conversations, because honestly, like in those moments, I'm so thankful that this person is like interested in at least understanding and learning more about me or about the trans community, because it might be opening their hearts. It might be, there's so many things that could be going on. So that's why every time I push myself to answer, but we shouldn't have to, and we don't always have to. And because when that happens and someone just comes straight up to you and asks you a question, it's really, even just to get that, can I ask you a question? It's really jarring for a lot of people. Like, you could be on the beach having fun, or you can be like in line at the roller coaster with people in front of you and behind you. And like, I think it's definitely important to think about where you are and when you ask someone these questions.
Yeah. Sometimes it can feel like have you ever got a text that just said, "We need to talk"?
Oh my God, no.
Oh my God, just fucking shoot me.
Like I immediately am like, oh God, no. Like, do not do that. Like I've had that conversation with my Nana, because, Nana, grandmas, don't know those things. And I'm like, look, you can't say that. Like, that stresses me out. Like, if something is wrong, just call me. Like, don't be right. We need nothing in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the stress level I feel sometimes when I hear, "Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a personal question?"
A personal question. Yeah, that's how you know it's trans, when they're like personal. You're like, okay, how personal are we about to get at Walmart?
Right. Yes. Oh my God, exactly. Okay.
Yeah. No, I think it's hard to like with kids sometimes. I think like, it's so many times I have like, are you a boy or a girl? Like, straight up, because kids even less have a filter, right? I've had my sibling ask me, "Are you a boy or a girl?" right in front of my mom, who is like borderline, like we're trying to stay neutral because, and I have to think about answering those correctly, like the right way in those moments, but also authentic to myself. And so, yeah, kids are also something to be very,
yeah,
to be like, it can be frustrating, but but we have to like try and remember that they don't have that filter.
Yeah. I've had a lot of kids ask me questions, especially because like I worked in retail during, I would say the peak of my transition, where I'm, not passing as she, her anymore, but not quite he, him, and they don't really know. So the kids, they don't really know. Yeah. And the concept of gender constancy, which is the concept that it's something that we develop around age 5, where like before we develop a sense of gender constancy, a little child might see their friend who is assigned male at birth wearing a skirt one day to daycare or something. And even though they knew that their friend was a boy before, the day that they wear a skirt, they think that they're a girl. And not in like a teasing way, just like you're wearing a skirt, so you must be a girl. They don't know that your gender doesn't change day to day.
Right.
And so that's what gender constancy is. And it's a concept we develop around age 5. So
I didn't know that.
That's why children younger than 5 will see a girl with short hair and think that they're a boy now, especially if they saw them with long hair before. You know, it's so that's something to consider. And so I would get that a lot and I remember specifically one little boy was being pushed in a cart and I was sleeping up. It was closing time and the little kid was like, "Mommy, what's that mister doing?" And the mom said, "No, honey, we say ma'am." And I said, "Oh no, he was right." And she was like, "Oh, okay."
Nice.
And,
yes.
And there was another time I was in a Wawa and a young boy just ran across my path and then like did a double take and was like, "Are you a boy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "All right." And then
oh my gosh, this really happened. That is so tough. That is so tough. I've had that at the grocery store, at the person behind me, like their mom is like asking, or the kid is like asking, and the mom is like, yeah. But that running past you and just dead stopping, being like, "Wait,
I know."
I just had to triple check real quick. Like, okay, thanks,
like his
bye.
sneakers squeaked. Yeah. Like he was like, "Are you a boy?" Okay. Yeah, right on. I thought so.
Moving on.
He's like, "Nailed it."
Gotcha. I can't believe that. No,
it's just so funny.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes
kids are great.
Kids are great. Kids are way greater than having these conversations like with adults.
I want to talk about my nieces. This was when my nephew excuse me. My nephew was still really young and wasn't really talking. So he was like saying words and stuff, but not really, talking. But my nieces were. And I was wearing trans tape over at the house. And I changed my shirt and they were like playing in the pool or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe we were just outside and sweaty or whatever. But I changed my shirt and my oldest niece was like, why are you wearing those bandages on your chest? And I had told them that I was transgender before, but it wasn't anything that they cared about, so they didn't really like retain it. And so my older niece said that she remembered when I told her that I was transgender, and I asked her if she remembered what that meant, and she said that she didn't. So I reminded her that it meant that I was born a girl like mommy was, but I'm actually a boy, because some boys are born with the same parts, and I'm not comfortable having breasts like how mommy does. So I put this tape on him to make me look more like how normal boys look. And I said normal because she doesn't need, you know, she's not differentiating cis yet, you know.
Right.
And so she was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And she was more concerned. She thought it was bandages, and she thought I was hurt. And when she found out that I wasn't, and it made me more comfortable. Yeah. Then she was like, oh, all right, cool.
Oh, okay. Thank God. I thought you had like almost died. Like, are you okay?
Yeah. She's never had a problem with it. She never questioned it. There was no, I was like, do you have any questions? No.
Yeah.
Understood it totally. And her mom was there.
Right.
And, you know, so I just, you know, as long as you tell them the truth and give them the facts, they'll understand you, you know, and they'll understand you. They'll believe you even if you don't tell them the truth or give them the facts. They're children. But
we've seen examples of that.
Right. These children are part of my family, and so I'm educating them in front of their mother, who trusts me with them, you know. So and
and
I'm educating them
partially
how I know
yours, right? They're your nieces. Yeah, you know. Yeah,
those are my babies. Totally. I want them to know everything that I could possibly teach them, and understand everyone's like individuality. And I'd be remiss if I didn't, you know, start telling them about my existence and how it's different, and answer their questions, which they don't really have a lot of.
Kids are it's way easier with kids. Like, it's very straightforward, you know, which is nice. And it's good that you're educating them on how to, you know, have unconditional love for people, and that there are people that live like this, and like this, there are types of people like this. So that will open them to, no, that's dope as shit, dude. Another thing I want to make sure that we cover of what not to say to trans people is outing them. So like, what I mean by that is, like, if you're in a conversation with somebody and there's extra, you know, if there is someone in the room, like, you have to be careful with who you just say, like, oh, this is my gay friend, or this is my trans friend, or this is my, you know, that is definitely what we are not trying to do here. That is not helpful. I've been at a birthday party where I knew only the person whose birthday it was, and there was like, we were in this like small space because we were checking out my friend's studio, and there was like a packed room. I don't know anybody. There was like 10 people there besides the birthday guy. And he played this video, and he was like, oh, by the way, sorry, Aaron, like, it's going to have some, has some like trans reference on it. So just like, ignore that. And then he plays the video, and everyone just kind of looks over at me and looks back, and like in the room. And I'm like, and Kayla was with me, thank God. And I'm like squeezing Kayla's hand so hard because I'm so pissed, because he was like a close friend of mine. And like we had been working on educating and talking about how, like, what to do and what not to do. And it was tough. Oh my God. So if you don't know, like, you have to understand when you disclose this information about somebody, like, that's definitely not yours to disclose too. Also.
Yeah, exactly. I wish that people, oh my God, like, The trans part is not the most interesting thing about us, and it's not how you have to introduce us.
Mm-hmm.
The most interesting thing about me is that I'm BEAU.
Yeah.
Like,
there's so much more to us.
I'm the only BEAU, you know? I'm not the only trans person. I'm the only BEAU. You're going to introduce me as an individual. Not like this. What the frick?
Yeah.
This is my white friend Aaron.
Yeah. Why?
Wouldn't that be weird? Wouldn't that be a weird way to introduce you?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. And I was like so dumbfounded in my face, because when I get mad, my face gets so hot and my ears just like feel like they're about to spark fire. And I'm just like being silent. And he had finished the song, and I was like, "Happy birthday, man! I think we're gonna head out." And we left. We like left the building and went straight to the car. And Kayla was like trying to keep up behind me, like, "Wait for me!" I'm like, "We are out, baby. Let's go." Yeah, no, that was a rough situation. So I wanted to make sure to mention it's not like that's something you need to be careful of, talking to trans people in the situation that you're in, whether you're just mentioning it casually or whether you're going to ask them a personal question.
Yeah, I would look relevant to what you were saying, but kind of like the opposite. I was in a situation where I was living with my grandparents, and I was not out to them, though I was on testosterone, and I was out everywhere else, even at work. Mm-hmm. So I had to tell my work that if my grandmother ever calls, they are to either either misgender me or just transfer to me, like don't even say anything, just say like 1 second and then transfer to me or something, because if they said my name, if they corrected them or anything like that, like that would be a problem for me.
Right.
And I said that to my friends too, my best friends, who would come over to swim at the pool. And because we're at my grandparents' house, they cannot gender me correctly. They cannot use my chosen name. They have to dead name me, and they have to misgender me for my safety, which is uncomfortable for everybody, but you do what you got to do. And so these are conversations that we have beforehand. It's not like I'm expecting them to show up and then the second they call me BEAU, I'm snapping.
Right.
These are conversations that we have beforehand. This is a conversation I had with my employer the first day of work, the first day I got hired, and I've had these conversations with my best friends like over and over again. Like, you guys are welcome to come to the pool, but remember, I can't be BEAU at the pool. I can't be he, him at the pool. And, they would make sure that we're touching base. They would apologize, but, because they're like, I'm so sorry. And they like validate me saying like, I don't see you as this person. And, they were just great about it. You don't have to go through those great lengths to, they didn't have to apologize. It's not, I'm asking them to do it. They were sad that I was in such a situation where I had to ask them to do it. And they wish that I could have been in a safe space where they could have avoided, calling me a thing that they know hurts me, because that's gotta suck.
Yeah, because it's your closest person to you. They know.
Yeah, exactly. So like sometimes you gotta also do the uncomfortable things as an ally. If you want to, spend time with a person who's around people that they're not out to, you gotta really tread lightly. And, just as like sometimes when a close person comes out all of a sudden with new names and new pronouns, sometimes it takes some time. We're not expecting you to get it all right out the get-go. It takes some time. Yeah. It can also take some time to get used to that, and it's just like one mess up in that kind of situation and you can like get your friend in trouble. I accidentally did that to myself. I was talking about myself in third person, telling a story about work in front of my grandma, and I was like, and then Amanda was like, oh no, Bo, we got it. And I was like, I mean, that's just a nickname they have for me at work.
Oh my God, dang. No,
oh my God,
that's wild. I think that communication though is key. Like having that open communication with each other, and like it's not that we don't want these conversations, like tough conversations, to be had, but you do have to have them, like regardless. Like you can have them in the right ways. You can have them in the right moments, like noticing like whether you're just one-on-one with them, or if you're asking them at the dinner table and it's like, bro, I'm trying to eat my mashed potatoes right now. I'm not in education mode. Like we're having, we're playing Yahtzee right now. Like, yeah, so I definitely think that it has to be at the right time.
Has that ever happened to you? Has somebody ever like, can I ask you a personal question at the dinner table?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I
just, what did they say?
I just recently went to my Nana's 60th birthday party, and I live in small town Tennessee, and I don't like the people that, like, I hang out with my Nana, and she's like, 65. And it's like, so her friends are like her age and older. And so like she'll have people, coming to dinner, like bringing to dinner, and like, this is my grandson, Aaron. And like, they've heard about me before. They've heard so much about me, but I've just now met them and stuff. And like, yeah, so after, sitting there for a while, you get that, can I ask you a personal question?
Yeah.
How is your transition going? Or, how did you know that you blah, like, just like things that like you just can't ask at Olive Garden, like, so it's definitely tough. But then it's also like this, I'm talking to somebody's grandmother, like, and like they have family like they brought it up because they have a family member that's blah blah blah. And then it's like, okay, now I'm like in somebody else's life, like influencing their, like I'm like, oh my God. And like, forget this, I can't focus on eating right now. I need to focus on like what I say and how I say it. And a lot of times I get a lot of good feedback from those conversations that are like, thank you so much for your help or whatever. So it's like hard to curb those people and be like, I don't want to talk about that right now, when you know that you're like being helpful and educating more people.
Right.
But the best, like I was gonna say, like, what advice do you think we can come up with for someone who like wants to curb them? Like, and what I mean by curb them is being like, no, like, I don't think we should, like, I'll have this conversation right now. Like, how can you in a nicely way be like, ask me later? You know what I mean?
Okay, well, my first thing that I was going to say, because it's like 90% of the time it's prefaced by, can I ask you a personal question? Right. So yeah, that's a question. They're asking if they can ask you a personal question.
Ooh, right off the bat, bro.
No,
yes.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yes. And that's that. But like the possibility of someone just being like, no, you can't. And then everyone's just like, awkward silence. Yeah. So I mean, like, what I've always done in like those types of situations is try to be like funny about it. Like,
yeah, funny like is the best way, I think.
Humor. Yeah, just bringing in the humor whenever you can. I feel like, and like in those situations, I'm just like, if I'm trying to curb them, I will be more like, I just keep saying curb them, and then it's like distracting me. I don't know why I keep saying that word.
So like, can I ask you a personal question? Oh, I'm a size 10. Or like, AB positive.
Right. Let me just cut to the chase. I know exactly what you're asking here. Yes, I smoke weed. That's exactly what it is. No. So like, maybe, maybe you can say, yeah, you totally can, but maybe later. Yeah, totally. Ask me.
Yeah, that'd be a nice way.
Why don't you ask?
Like, let me give you my Instagram. You can send me a DM and I'll answer it when I'm able, or like my email or something.
Let's talk about that later. Let's talk about this later, and then forget to give them your number if you don't,
Yeah.
You have to play it by ear. I don't know.
Send them the link to this video.
Look, both out here making solutions for y'all. This video.
Send them this video. They will get the hint. Hopefully.
Yep.
If you were sent a link to this video, please know that you are loved, but you're just a little bit stupid. Just a little bit of a dummy, but it's okay. You could be a dummy.
This is what, you know, you learn, and you're here to learn, and we appreciate that. And thank you for, obviously you want to be more interested in what's going on, but
we're like the angel and the devil.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, you're
say
a
no.
Dummy. Yeah,
say no. They're dumb, and you're like, well, we could talk about this later.
Because if you just like say no, like people, there's no way that they're gonna be like, boom, no. I mean, if you can, like, that is badass. But I just feel like the majority of people like don't know how to do that. I feel like I couldn't do that. Yeah, that's
true. I can say that now, but
if I was pissed off, I could. But if I was just stunned, I don't think I could.
Honestly, like, I've never curbed somebody. I'm just like, yeah, you can ask me a personal question.
Right. Yeah, me too.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not really, I love the concept of just being like, can I ask you a personal
That's why you're
question?
like, no, you can't, because you always say yes. So I have no problem saying no. You just say no, and then you're like, yeah, anything.
Or oh my god, you could like print out a bunch of like cards that just have like like an FAQ.
FAQs. Aaron FAQs.
FAQ. What was transition like? When did you know? Did you get the surgery?
Exactly, dude. Since we've gotten top surgery, I've like that's one personal question that I haven't got yet. At least since I've had top surgery that I can remember and didn't block out. But so far I have not had that question. So I'm like, when they ask me like, oh, are you going to have that surgery? Because they're like, in a lot of people's minds, they're like, these are the steps. If you're a trans person, these are the things you have to do in this specific order. And that is just not how it works. But to them, that's how it works. They're like, oh, so you're on step 3. So when's step 4? And you're like, that's not how these steps work.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I've gotten it a lot, actually. Like, have you had these surgery? Especially after I got top surgery. A lot of people were like,
you have got it?
Yeah. And a lot of people were like, well, now when are you going to get bottom surgery? And I'm like, I'm not, ever. I don't want it. And it's like so confusing to them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like, why would I want to be a man without a penis?
Right. They don't, they clearly don't understand it. That's why they're, I mean, that's why.
Yeah. My genitals aren't being perceived by you. Like, you don't need to be concerned.
Are you trying to go to bed with me?
Seriously.
Are you want me right now? Is that what's going on?
That's what I think.
Oh my god, that might be the best curb. That might be the best one. If someone asks you what's in your pants, like, are you hitting on me right now?
Are you hitting
like this? You like that?
Oh my god, I am
me and Bo's reaction are totally different. Me and Bo.
I'm like, oh my god, do you want my number right now? I'm so sorry, I have a boyfriend.
That wasn't my first response. Like, oh, you like that?
I wrote down for like what not to say. Mm-hmm. Just don't talk about genitals.
Oh my god.
Just don't ask about genitals.
Let's just break this down to common sense, people. If you wouldn't ask this to a cis person, why, like, what you wouldn't just walk up to someone and just be like, yo, how are your balls?
Right. You wouldn't walk up to a pregnant person or like someone that just gave birth and was like, how's your vagina?
Yeah.
No one.
Are your nipples burning? Like, no one's gonna say these things. You know what I mean? Like, So be mindful when you're asking these questions. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on the if you must be hating on me with the genitive in the pants. I mean, somebody's got to use that in real life. Please comment below. Y'all get an extra bonus star because that would be perfect.
My God. I'm definitely going to use that next time. I'll report back with the results.
Please. Oh my God. Please. Even if it's a DM, please let me know.
Yes. Oh my God.
So yeah, if you guys have, I mean, that's all I had. I wanted to make sure just to touch base. What do you got?
Oh, I got more.
Give it to me.
Because you said DM, so I was thinking about like all the messages that I've ever received, like on dating apps and shit.
Yeah, in those conversations.
Yeah. And like the thing is, on dating apps, as we've established, I have no TMI filter, and I'd much rather get it out of the way. So in my bio, I say I'm a trans man with a pussy, and
yeah, like, so here is all the info.
Yeah, you're gonna be dating me. I'm here. Like, honestly, let's be real. I was in my slut era, and I very much just wanted to sleep around. So that was the first thing I put out there.
Right. You were like, this
because I'm like, I don't want to fuck around with people who aren't interested in a body like mine, So I'm like, here's what I look like. Here's information about the downstairs,
Right. Yeah. You're just like very boom. And this is what it is.
Right. If that's not what you're into, keep scrolling. Like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. And is that common on the dating apps?
What, like people? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I was pretty vulgar about it, but I mean, like, people will say like pre-op.
Right. Okay. I see.
Or like post-op surgery.
I see.
Pre-op bottom surgery, or like no intention of bottom surgery, or like whatever,
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so I, got a lot of bites, obviously. But there were there are also people that were just like, I don't know. I feel like it's within the context, and especially the way that I presented myself in the bio is just like very open. So I feel like saying like things not to say to transgender people is a little like, in the context, these people, I guess, weren't doing anything wrong. It's just like
conversations.
Yeah. I get never mind, because that was all cool. It was when it was my boss that asked me that. Like, how do you have sex? Because I had a boyfriend.
Your boss asked you that?
Yeah. And that was after a "Can I ask you a personal question?"
Yeah. That was what followed. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I ask you a personal question? How do you have sex? I'm like, first of all, no. So don't ever. I answered because I was also scared of this boss. Right. And it's something I would have answered if it wasn't my boss.
Yeah.
It was weird because it was my boss.
Yeah.
But not saying that that's the truth for everybody.
Sure.
That would be weird coming from anybody.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody who receives that question, how do you have sex, has the right to be fucking creeped out.
What did you say? Wait, because you were identifying, you were just, what was
as I am now, Bo, he, him.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm dating a cis guy.
Oh.
So she was like, how do you have sex? And I'm like, with my pussy.
You said here. What do you mean?
Yeah, I have sex with my pussy, just like you do, Dawn. Like,
yeah, no. I had a boss ask me that same question, and it's funny that you said that, because the dude that was training me on when I first was learning how to build websites and do social media and like the whole thing, a deep dive. It was in one of those training sessions that he was can I ask you a personal question? And I'm like, yeah, man, what's up? And he's like, so how do you have sex? And I said, the same way you do. I just don't need what you got. I said it, bro. It came out of my mouth and I was like, Oh my God, I couldn't memorize that better. It just came out of my mouth, and I was just like, "Oh my God, he just got this guy,
bro! You just got him."
He just started laughing so hard. He was like, "Respect, man, respect." I just had to. I was just curious.
That is great. That is a great one. Same way you do. I just don't need what you got.
Yes! Oh my God, it was everything. So that was a W for me that I forgot that I even had until you just said that.
That was fucking great. Oh my God, I'm shook.
Yeah. I had to.
That was so good. I don't think I could do that even if I tried. I'm not that witty.
Yeah, I have to be in like the right mood and like the right, like I have to feel like super affirmed. I've noticed like I have to feel like at least confident, like partially confident in the moment, or like, because when they say like, can I ask you a personal question, I immediately am like, all right, hold on, I gotta stretch. Like I'm going to the Super Bowl. I got to get in my mindset. You got to shake it out. And then you like buff up and you're like, all right, what you got? Hit me.
The voice drops.
Hit me right on the jaw. Hit me. And then the question, so it's like,
yeah,
you just got to get yourself ready. So I get that.
What's like the most unhinged question you got? Was it the sex one?
Yeah, I would say the sex one. I mean, it was definitely from a stranger for sure. I had my like the conversations that you have with like family members, like especially like older family members, like parents and grandparents. I feel like their conversations are like they have no filter even more because you're like their kid or their grandkid or whatever. So like I've had them ask me some like crazy questions about like, so you don't like your chest, or so, like, or I've had those, a bunch of like terrible, just cringeworthy conversations of like those. But
yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that was definitely the worst one that I was asked.
Yeah.
Still didn't have to answer it. I was just like, next.
My mom was, when we talked about what me being trans meant for like my future and like my body, and she was, like, so I'm not gonna have any grandkids, and I'm like, well, I mean, I might adopt, but probably not. But I'm certainly not gonna have children with my body.
Right.
So she was like sad about that.
Right.
And first, I guess my chest was like lumped in with that too. I don't know why. Sure. But I told her I wasn't going to get bottom surgery. That was none of her business, but
right.
But I figured I wanted to prevent her from asking, right? Because her asking would have been way too weird for me to hear. So I'm like, let me just say it.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God.
Yeah. So, maybe sometimes just dumping information might prevent you from getting creeped out by someone you know.
Bro, I'm so happy that you just said that, because I just had that experience when we were telling people that me and Kayla are expecting our baby.
Oh my God.
We're due in December. And we were so excited to tell the family, and we knew that this like but how question would be like looming around, and it's like, who's gonna say it, who's not, are we gonna say it? And there's like a collective decision of like, are we addressing it, are we just moving on, are we gonna ask them later? And we had told I can't remember if we told Kayla's mom or my Nana first, I can't remember, but like with the whole group and everything, with everyone, and like her family didn't say a word about it and say how or nothing. And then Nana was so excited. She's like, I'm sorry, sweetie. I don't want to, but I just have to know, like, but how? Like, how does that work? And when she first found out, and we had showed her the baby, the photo, like we got her a frame with the sonogram on it and everything. And at first she like snapped her head over at Kayla, and she was like, mad. Like I have this on video too. I'll have to share it one of these days. But she snapped her head over at Kayla real fast, like she was mad. And she looked back at me and she said, what do you mean? What do you mean? And I was like, oh my God, Nana's getting mad. Like Nana thinks that Kayla cheated on me and that I'm embracing this child as my own. This is what's going through my Nana's head. And this is all happening in like 3 seconds. And then she looks back over at me and then she was like, how? Because I was smiling. I was just beaming, glowing. Like I wasn't like, oh, this terrible thing happened. Like, we're trying to move on as a couple. But yeah, she was just like, but like how? But how did I have to know? And I'm like, we go through the whole process of like what it means to get a sperm donor and like at home insemination and how that works. And when I had that conversation with my mother, I was more. I did the same thing. I didn't want her to ask me how, because I was like, this conversation is already painful for me to have. Like, I already have to like work myself up to do this. Like, I'm not trying to have anything. So I'm like, I already know she's going to ask. So I'm just immediately come out with the answer. I'm like, all right, check it out. We're having a baby. It's going to be great. We used a donor. We went through this process. It was very secure. We're all both on the same page. We're, like I had to like throw that in. So in some situations, it can definitely prevent you. And I definitely just think like reading the room and like knowing the conversations that you're in, like will help you whether you should just like dump or whether you should just like hold back and just let that be that moment for a while. You know what I mean? And just like, embrace it without having to worry about it. And then maybe for once people won't say it and you'll just be able to just enjoy that.
Yeah. 100%. But for people who would ask that question, maybe this is my closing statement. For people who want to ask, can I ask you a personal question? Followed by a very personal question.
Usually very personal.
Yeah. Think first if the answer to that question is going to affect your relationship with that person at all. If the answer to it doesn't change anything about your interactions with this person, your relationship with this person, why do you have to know? In what way does you gaining that information, that personal information, beneficial to you?
In our relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
And number 2, can you Google that information?
Oh my God.
Can you look it up online instead of making your friend feel weird? Also consider that there is such a bliss in the surrender, just letting it go.
Not your business.
It's none of your goddamn business. You don't have to ask it. It does not have to be burning in your mind. All of a sudden, let it go. Look at how freeing that is. Not needing to know how your coworkers' genitals look. Yeah, like not needing to know your coworkers' bedroom activities. Oh my God, you're so free from the thought now. Look at that. Jesus Christ.
The fact that we have to think about these things in the workplace is just not it.
Oh my God. Most of these interactions that I've had have been in the workplace.
It's not it. I'm so happy you
not in my current workplace.
You just dropped those 3 things. Those were perfect. I couldn't have said it. Google is an amazing resource. I mean, honestly, I think even like growing up, like there's so many things you just Google. You just find out, you Google it and you're like, okay, now that makes sense. Moving on. Or I understand now, or that's the answer to my question, moving on. So yeah, that's amazing. I love that. That's a perfect thing to end with. I love that. Make sure that you guys
There are accounts dedicated to educating people on the, like Pink Manta Ray, like,
right. Yeah. Of course.
Caden, I forget his last name. Caden, Blair Imani, like all of these people who make it their job to educate people in these kind of matters. It's not your job. You don't get paid to do it. Right. You're doing it out the kindness of your heart. You could just link them to something relevant. And that is enough.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, it's even enough to just say no and move the fuck on, block them, and who gives a fuck? Like
that's allowed within your rights, and you should definitely consider using that as much as you can, because like really, it's not necessary. It's not necessary unless you want that. So, hell yeah, I love that. We're here every Sunday. Check back for new episodes. Follow us. Comment below. Let us know how you guys are doing. If you have questions, a lot of times we'll pull episodes straight from the comments. So drop a question and we'll make a whole episode about it and chat.
Let us know your best curbs.
Oh my God, yes.
I'm dying to know.
I want to hear the stories. Drop them down.
Yeah,
there. Let's learn from each other. Let's spread these tools for us all to utilize in the best moments. So we'll see you guys later. We love you, and we will see you guys in the next
one.
That was Bye.